Thank you for joining us for this episode of That Solo Life, the podcast for PR pros and marketers who work for themselves. People like me, Michelle Kane with Voice Matters, and my wonderful co host, Karen Swim of Solo PR Pro. Hey, Karen, here we are.
Good morning, Michelle. How are
Good
you
morning.
doing this week?
Doing all right, doing all right. We are all living the dream of being a communicator in 2025. It's a glorious thing. Actually, it is. It is. But it's interesting times as always, right?
I would say interesting is a big word that aptly describes this year.
Yes. Yes, the whole lot of it. And we've just I don't know, seen so much lately, experienced so much, and it's like, so we're just gonna do a little, as we called it, a little potpourri of what's happening in PR these days.
This episode could not be contained by a single topic. And so there's so much happening that we decided to have a little fun today and kind of skirt through a few different topics.
Yay. So, what you got?
Well, one of the things that I'm noticing is what's happening with PR tools these
Oof.
days.
Um, let's see. Some of them are lacking. Some of them are, "You gotta be kidding me. You want me to pay how much?" And, yeah, it just I don't know. It just feels like even beyond tools, it feels like in certain ways, what felt like a nice, sweet groove maybe 10 years ago, and not to sound like, "Get off my lawn," it things just seem disjointed. I don't know if it's just me. It's like, "Okay, well, that works," but and I think it could very well just have to do with the fact that our entire landscape, our entire playing field of PR is in such flux, and I don't mean that necessarily in a bad way. I mean,
Yeah.
certainly decimation of news outlets is bad, but, you know, as we always say, that just means we need to be more creative and we can certainly get our messaging out. But when you're trying to create something like a tool, which of course takes time, effort, you know, study, and then it's here, and suddenly you find, oh, wait, the industry is up there ahead. And so what do you do?
It's really sad to me, as you said, that there was a time in our lives when we had a tool or two that we needed, and we would pay for those, two tools, and we would get a plethora of things that were important to our jobs. And I feel like what we have been seeing is higher prices, but less utility to our day to day jobs.
Yes.
So for me, where I see things falling down, media monitoring, you are nickel and dimed depending on what you want. And if you are someone who pitches trades and pitches, other things like newsletters and other outlets where your publics actually are, good luck getting a media monitoring service to find all of the mentions. It usually means a manual search or using a different tool to do that. So you're paying for something and you're paying sometimes for the media database, which also these days is sorely lacking.
Yeah.
And I don't know that that's the fault of the PR tool companies because there's a lot of movement,
Right.
but it just, like you said, it's so disjointed, but prices keep going up and you're left wondering, what am I really paying for when I'm having to do so many manual workarounds to get what I need?
Yeah. That's very true, especially with the ever-changing newsrooms. It's like we can't really hold it to these tools to keep up that quickly and at that pace. And just even as you lose personnel, I'm sure that they're losing point people too to even keep them updated. So yeah, I don't know.
I also, though, feel like there might be an over reliance on automation and AI,
Mm,
and they've lost a step and they've
yeah,
lost us in the process. More and more
yeah,
people are just turning away and saying, why am I doing this when I could, really put together something on my own to get at what I need? Analytics is another area that I feel like in some ways, depending on what you're looking for, you can get better analytics from non PR tools than you can from the big PR tool makers. Like trying to pull together just simple things to show impact it is
Yeah.
really tough. It's hard. Like you have to hack together a bunch of stuff. And I don't know about you, but if I'm paying for a service, I honestly want to be able to go to that service and run monthly reports that give me the information that I need that I can
Yeah.
then customize my reports. I don't mind customizing my reports, but can I get the information that I need without having to dig through 10 different places to get at that information?
Yeah, and it almost feels sometimes you have to customize your work to
Yes.
fit the parameters of the tool, and it's like, well, that's, to say the least, a little backwards. That's not how this works. You should work with us to an extent and understand. And again, I get it. It's like riding a large ship. It you can't just, flip a U-turn and make things
So
change.
true.
But and we've just experienced kind of I don't know how to say it, which is dumb because here I am on a podcast. But we've both experienced this lately of just, and I'm not even saying like go for the gold sticker, but do your job. And I know as PR people, we do wear many hats, and most times we wear them gladly, and we're happy to just get her done because that's what we're accustomed to. That's what we do. But I feel like more and more we're hitting these walls of, why do I have to ask for that? Why do I have to almost go around you and get it myself? And I think I know part of the answer. It's just our society right now. We're all tired, we're exhausted, everything is uncertain. So I get it, but come on, people, help us out.
I wonder if it is all fatigue,
Mm,
because I'm finding myself setting the expectation of not relying on people doing their jobs consistently from day to day. And
yeah.
so that puts a lot more work on us in
Mhm.
just normal everyday things. You can't trust people to follow up when they say that they're going to follow up. You can't trust that you are going to get the information that you need in one ask. You may have to ask
Oh,
5 times. And that means a lot of, creating your own tickler system of reminding yourself to follow up with people who can't be trusted to just do what you've asked them to do or what you're paying them to do.
yeah.
And this is not, only in PR, this is in everything. And so I'm tired and I'm
Yeah.
sure, and I'm tired and I have a job. So I think every living human being must be feeling the same thing. And
Yeah.
I don't know the solution to this, but because I don't know if other countries are also experiencing this, and other
Mm,
countries are much better than we are at taking time off and having rest.
yeah.
Here in the United States, we just you have to be dead to get time off around here.
Yeah.
It's really disgusting to
And
me.
even
So maybe
and even then, hey, your health is failing. Could you turn that thing in this week before you
it's so
expire? And I know that's
true.
kinda only half joking, okay? Like, I could see myself doing that because I am that ridiculous and American.
No, it's really true and it's really sad. And I wish that we could have a major culture shift around making it normal to take time off. I had a
Yeah.
colleague that was sick recently and they just kept working. Like it's not that
Yeah.
bad. What's the barometer to take time off in this country? If you're sick, should you not just be able to walk away from your job for a couple of days so that you could focus on your own health? Do you have to
Yeah.
be super sick? Is that what qualifies as being comfortable to take time off? It's this culture and
Yeah.
it's so deeply embedded into, our mind that somehow taking time off is bad. It's horrible. Like
Yes.
we're
Yeah.
not supposed to do that. Oh, you just have a respiratory thing or you just have a sinus infection. Keep working. oh, they haven't
Yep.
willed you into surgery yet. Keep working. You got your phone. Like, I need this stuff. It
Yeah.
just,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. We
It's
need
true.
to
It's
we need to back off so that we can all be more effective at our jobs, I think. I mean, and we can't be effective if we're all stinking tired.
well, and you know, it it has a high price because we've been on this habit trail for decades. And what it does slowly is it chips away at our perceived humanity of ourselves and each other and the give that we give each other. It's lacking because, well, I'll power through, you power through. We're not human. We just keep going. And you know, it's I don't think it's an intentional toll, but it does take a toll, right? You have to realize, hey, yo, I'm not a McDonald's drive-through. Like this is not sometimes even they make you pull over to wait for your fries. So calm down. And this is from someone who, I'm not going to lie, I worked through COVID. I thought, well, I don't need to be flat on my back. Let me
Yeah.
let me just work slower. And I'm like, you're an idiot. I'm like, yeah, I know. And I think to myself, well, when you were working in an office, what made you stay home? Probably just the idea of, well, I don't want to spread this. So I'll stay home. If it wasn't contagious, I probably would have limped in, which is so dumb. I'll call myself out on that. It's just dumb.
It's true, and I suppose that is a good point when you're working from a home office and you are not exposing germs to colleagues. I mean, I do understand if you have like a sniffle, that's
But
annoying, but it's not, it's not affecting your ability to get work done that you would keep, that you would keep working. But when you are hacking
yeah,
and you've got,
yeah,
issues, why not just take the time off, even if it's a day or two to just rest and
yeah,
recover and
it's
then come
smart.
back to work
Yeah,
and let that be
yeah,
normal and okay. It's not. We just
yeah.
are
I
not
don't.
allowing sufficient time for people to deal with their life or recover from, illness or grief or whatever is going on. And
Yeah.
I do feel like we're seeing the collective toll of that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, it's been over 20 years since I've been to London, but that was one of the things I picked up on, just the vibe of the city. This is a vibrant city, a major city in the world economy, and I just didn't have that sense of, even on the train
Yeah.
platforms during rush hour. And I'm sure all you people work very hard every day, and yet here we are. And oh,
I at least
okay,
hear them talking about, and I, we work with global companies and we do see them taking far more holidays than we do here in the States. And I understand no place is perfect, but
right,
I just here in this country, we could definitely, use a collective exhale.
yeah, yeah. I would say I think it's especially true here in the Northeast. We're insane.
Yeah.
I'll say it.
So continuing on with our mini topic day, it's, being a communicator right now is really interesting in managing your publics and really
Mm,
breaking through with your messaging. And, so you already have, the media outlets, which is a challenge. Journalists are under assault. True journalism is under assault.
yes.
And you've got, a shrinking number of outlets. You've got local outlets going away, which
Oh,
is devastating.
yeah,
I cannot believe there's not more outrage about that. And you've got media companies that control huge percentages of the media. But our publics are also problematic because
yeah.
human beings have such a different barometer these days of what qualifies as important to them,
Mm,
important enough
mhm,
to listen and important enough to tune into.
yeah.
And I don't know if this is the, social media effect, but a lot of the public is swayed by aesthetics.
Mhm,
So they look at the prettiness of it all versus the facts and the quality. So,
yeah.
we see, for example, there is an entire social media account, only one that I know of, there could be others, that is providing updates on Luigi.
Oh,
the young man who murdered a man in cold blood. And
yeah.
that to me is horrifying because I do not care how good looking he is.
For
I
goodness
do
sake.
not want updates. I do not want to support a
No.
murderer. That
Yeah.
man that
Yeah.
was murdered, you could say whatever you want to say about his character, about healthcare, but it's interesting to me that the public really makes these decisions about, and so they're all in. There's enough people wanting information that their social media accounts dedicated to it. So as PR professionals working in that environment forces us to focus not only on what we do so well, which is messaging and ethics and responsible content, but then being able to package that in a way that's going to break through to an audience that really prizes prettiness.
Yeah. I think it's the price we're paying for the popularity of reality TV. I'm not saying it's all bad,
True.
but it's that scintillation. I mean, we've seen it bleed through into our coverage of politics. Or even, it's either that or everything's treated as a sport, right? Like, what's the latest? What's
Yes.
happening? And yeah, I had a little mini rant myself in my television last week of, all the hoo-ha over the NFL draft, and it's 5 days long, and all the bombast of it, which is fine. But next time I hear a football fan trash my Oscars, I'm gonna remind them they have a lunch, and then they have a 3-hour award shows. I don't wanna hear it, all you people taking off for the NFL draft. But anyway, back to what we're talking about. Yeah, I think it is. It's that sensationalism of everything, and it does make it challenging. I was gonna say difficult, but no, it's challenging, um, to break through in a meaningful way. You feel like you have to almost go that route, and it's like, "Really? No, I'm not gonna do that." But
Yeah.
I I think that makes it all that more important that we, as best we can, and sometimes this is how we have to outright position things, is this is a solution to a problem that's making your life hard. And here is how what we have to say can help make your day to day better. Um, and I get it. And I think it does speak back to that fatigue because let's face it, sometimes at the end of the day, I just want the brain candy because I can't process anything else, but at the same time, it's not good. Like anything, like your diet, you shouldn't just be eating Tootsie Rolls.
I love that you use that word sensationalism because I think you hit the nail on the head and you're 100% right. It is a lot of brain candy. And when people grow used to that steady diet, then it makes it harder to feed them the good stuff.
Yeah,
So, for communicators, I do think it's not impossible, but we have to adhere to our integrity and we can't lower ourselves.
yeah,
It's almost like remember when the tabloids were like a bad thing
yeah,
and we didn't look at tabloids as true journalism and they were relegated to a certain part of our reading category and they weren't
right.
taken seriously. And now it feels like everything is tabloid
Oh,
journalism
totally.
and the nuggets of news and information that we get are far and few between. I of course enjoy those. I still enjoy those rare long form stories that really delve deep into issues and present
Mhm.
it in a way that you're getting all of the sides and you can make decisions on your own. The reporter's not
Yeah,
leading you down a path, but they really are taking you into the heart of the story.
yeah.
Unfortunately, sadly, I do believe that journalists, again, I want to say journalists and not content people,
Mhm.
journalists want to do that. Journalists want to do the
Yeah,
job that they signed up to do, but they are often not allowed to do that
yeah,
to keep working.
yeah, yeah. I've seen that locally. There's a journalist in Philly, and just a couple of things have come up, and people got their hot takes in, and he took his time, and he ended up being right and getting the facts right. And he said, this stuff takes days, easily, if not longer, to get it right. So he's not going to do the hot takes. And I he's right. I mean, I saw it way back in the 90s, when hard copy became a thing. Hard copy became a thing right around the time that the news budgets were slashed and they were expected to have a little more infotainment flavor, and that blurring is not healthy for us as a society, not at all. I'm not saying you shouldn't have fun, of course, but, our local news still had fun. They did the wacky public interest stories. You can still have fun, but I think the ship has sailed so far out. There's no returning back, but hopefully we can realize what's truly good for us and get back to it somehow.
Yeah, I think as PR professionals, no matter what industries you serve, whether you are in manufacturing or healthcare or, B2B tech, which all sounds very, very different from, B2C work. I think you're right that we have to find ways to present stories in a variety of ways, staying true to who we are, staying true to our clients and their messaging, and of course to their brand, but maybe serving up things that humanize the content. I think
Yeah.
that remains vitally important. And as PR pros, we know that there's always a way to story tell, no matter how mundane, no matter how complicated a topic is. There's still a way to tell a story,
Yep.
and I think today we're required to do that. And I think we have to look at, mixtures, long form content, short form content. I think we do have to build some fun in there and have a balance. It can't all be, hard, heavy, complex. We have to mix it up a little bit for our audiences, or we're going to lose them. And I think that we have to be creative, or work with, collaborate with the creatives to bring things to our audience on different platforms, and not rely on the tried and true.
Yeah. No, that's so true. And you know what the good thing is? We as humans, we still crave story. We want stories that are compelling, that make us feel, that are well told, that have purpose. So in the end, we'll be okay. We'll be okay. It's just really bizarro world, but we'll be okay.
It is kind of bizarre, but we say this all the time. Public relations professionals are among the best of us. And I love that our profession attracts many because of the ethics that we hold dear, because of the unique part of our jobs where we really are not only serving our clients, but serving their publics as well. And I think that keeps us honest. And I think that
Mhm.
this profession attracts people who, at their heart, are extremely compassionate and human centered. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry for all of us that life is so tiring right now. I wish that I had multi-millions and could send us all on a great big fat vacation. I promise I would take you all
Ah.
away and let you have a chance to breathe for at least a week.
Mm.
I'm going to make that my mission. We should do a solo PR pro trip.
Ooh.
I'm going to
Just no cruises.
No cruises, because sorry to the people who love cruises. To me, it feels like being trapped on a floating germ factory, but that's me. If
Me
you're a
too.
cruise person, no offense intended, but these days I've been
Yeah.
cured of that cruise bug. No, thank you.
Well, we look forward to those golden sands one day, but
Yeah.
it, we hope that you've gotten some value out of our time together today. And if you have, please do share this episode around. We would truly appreciate that. Hit us up at soloprpro.com with your thoughts, with your ideas of things you'd like us to talk about. And until next time, thanks for listening to That Solo Life.